Hi, everyone. I'm Ellie from Nourishment Redacted, and welcome to Lioness Lifestyle Live.
And I am Cristie at Meeting Wellness. I'm so excited to meet with you this evening, especially because I wasn't here last week. It feels really good to be back.
Hi, and I'm Adrian, also known as the Biggest Loser Carnivore. Thanks for joining us tonight. Tonight we have my friend Carnivore Kyndall coming on. If you could get your questions ready, put a QQQ or a question in front of it so we can make sure to get that question to her.
Absolutely. And now it's time for this week's Roar of the Week. So this week's Roar of the Week, and now my head is cut off. I'll go like this as I read it.
Perfect. And I'll perch. Here we go.
Yes, just hang over the top, ladies. You were on a roll. Very informative. Apparently, you guys were on fire. Great job, ladies. If you guys want to be next week's Roar of the Week, leave us a comment down below after the video, and we will hunt through those, and we'll choose somebody to shout out for next week's show.
Okay, perfect. Well, it's my honor to welcome our guest, Carnivore Kyndall.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here.
Well, welcome so much to the show. Thanks for agreeing to come on. And we'd love for you to share about yourself, your healing journey, and why you choose a carnivore diet. We'd love to get to know you.
Yes. Well, I am 32 years old. I'm a stay-at-home mom to 3 beautiful little girls. I grew up in Oceanside, California. I live in Tennessee now, but growing up in California, we were the low-fat family. So I was raised on egg whites and skim milk, grilled chicken breast, and big salads. As a child, I was more of a chubby girl. Like my sisters were always so tall and lean. My dad was a colonel in the Marines and he was super buff and lean. My mom ran half marathons. But for me, I was always kind of chubby and struggled with weight and always feeling hungry. I was constantly craving sugar. I never felt full. I remember even being a child and hiding food in my room. My mom is a fabulous baker and she would make cupcakes once in a while. And I would enjoy them so much, I would actually eat the wrapper, just being so desperate for that sugar. So it started kind of at a young age, just really being addicted to sugar. And then as I got older and hit puberty, I did lose some of that baby fat. And I did notice that I got some more attention from friends and from some of the high school guys. And so my brain was thinking, you know what? I bet I would get even more attention if I lost more weight. So I drastically reduced my calories. I was down to eating about an apple a day or half a cup of cottage cheese a day while playing water polo, while surfing with friends, while playing volleyball and running 3-4 miles in the garage on my treadmill. And eventually I got to where I was so hungry and so malnourished, was not eating enough nutrients for my body, that I would binge because I was so hungry. So then I would binge on junk food, anything I could get my hands on. And then to get rid of that super full feeling, that just self-loathing from eating so much junk, I would purge. And the cycle begun. So I have been dealing with this eating disorder for a very long time. At sometimes it was not as difficult as other times. I felt like I had a little bit more control over it. But then there were some times that this eating disorder truly ruled my life. As I got older, my parents got divorced. We moved to Tennessee, and I was just battling with this eating disorder. I had tried so many ways to get rid of it. I had tried just eating in moderation. I had tried the green smoothies. I had tried eating 1,200 calories a day. Nothing would get rid of this eating disorder that was consuming me, and I never felt full. I was so tired of just restricting and gaining weight and being angry and self-loathing and carrying around this burden of this huge secret that I'm keeping from everyone. I met my husband and he had no idea. He just knew that we loved going out to eat, and I would eat such large amounts at meals. And then I would go home when he wasn't around and I would purge those things. And then the next day during the week, I would restrict and eat about 800 or 900 calories a day. And then that weekend, I would binge and then purge. And it was just a horrible cycle. We got married He still had no idea. We have had 3 beautiful little girls, and I had very horrible pregnancies. So sick. I mean, for like the first 12 weeks, I couldn't even swallow my own saliva. It was so bad. And I was living off of carbs. So after I had my girls, I didn't really have much of the binging and purging while I was pregnant because I was so sick. But after I had my girls, especially after I had my second daughter, I really dove into the emotional aspect of eating. I was completely just submerged in my postpartum depression and dealing with all of the sugar cravings and just binging. I wasn't purging at the time because I thought, oh, I'm breastfeeding. I can't be doing that. But I was eating so many calories and felt so awful. I had eventually gained a ton of weight. And after my second daughter's first birthday, after shoving 6 cupcakes in my mouth in the corner of my kitchen while my family was in the other room, I said, this is enough. So 5 years ago, I decided I am going to try keto. I looked up Dr. Berg. I listened to all of his videos. I did dirty keto at first, which is all the Atkins products and all that kind of stuff. And it took about 9 months, but I lost 77 pounds. This is part of my story that I just hate showing the pictures of what I looked like at that time because I was so depressed and dealing with anxiety and an eating disorder that I was hiding. And after those 9 months and losing that 77 pounds, I wanted to lose more. So here comes this huge, heavy eating disorder again, going back into my old ways of restricting, binging when no one is looking, and then purging. So I did that for a very long time. Again, dove deep into that eating disorder. And finally, I was on Instagram and I was so desperate. I was so sick of just dealing with this roller coaster of emotions and restricting and binging and purging and carrying the secret around. I saw Bella from Steak and Butter Gal eating sticks of butter. And I thought that was insane. I thought it was crazy. But I thought, I have got to do something. I cannot keep restricting and eating keto all week long, 800 to 900 calories a day. And then on the weekends, eating 10,000 calories a day. And then purging and doing it all over. I mean, I have 3 little girls and I'm doing all of this in secrecy. My husband still has no idea. So when I found the carnivore way of eating, I researched it for a very long time. And I'm going to be honest, I was scared. You know, when you think about what you can eat this fatty red meat, you can eat until you're full. I don't have to like portion this out and eat like a bird. This is insane. So I really dove deep into the research and I finally decided to try it for myself. And I tried it for over a year on and off, but I was not eating carnivore the right way. I was still restricting. I still had that diet brain. And now, finally, I am at the point which last year, the very end of last year, I finally told my husband and my family about this eating disorder that I have struggled with. But I put my foot down. I am sick of this. I'm sick of the mental weight of carrying this around. And I have now been eating disorder free and put my eating disorder in remission for almost 100 days. So huge. Just having that mental, like that weight. And unless you have dealt with an eating disorder or you have issues with food, like addiction to food, having that weight off is so incredible. And just being able to breathe the fresh air of knowing that I can nourish my body properly and not have to restrict my calories, that I can feel good, that I can lose fat, I can kill it in the gym, that I can run and chase my kids around and not have to constantly deal with the voices of addiction calling me back to eating more, to driving around and trying to call different bakeries to figure out where I can buy icing to eat in my car. I haven't had any of that. It is just so huge. I am a carnivore for life.
That is I mean, wow. I see a lot of parallels, in our 2 stories, believe it or not. But my question is, did something happen 3 months ago? Was there a catalyst that kind of put you over the edge
Yes.
to make this decision finally?
I was purging multiple times a day and I was having to find reasons to hide it from my children and having to find new ways to rid myself of this just engorgement of food quietly without anyone knowing and keeping it a secret. And my husband was very much, concerned because he did know at that time. It was just overwhelming. And I was so sick of the weight of carrying it around and just going back and forth and arguing with myself. Like I felt like split personality. It was like this side of my brain that was like the addiction was just constantly searching, looking for food, any excuse to go out to eat, any excuse to go through the drive-through and get treats. I would, hide things all over my house because I didn't want my kids to eat them. This junk, but yet it was okay for me to eat it, in secrecy. And I remember waiting, like if my husband ever came up to our house while my girls were down for quiet time, because he works in our backyard. He has a big shop in the backyard. That's where he works. So if he came up during my girls' quiet time, I would just be like biting my nails because I wanted him to leave so that I could really dive in to that binge on the couch by myself and consume that 10,000 calories and get that dopamine hit, get that blood sugar up, and have that 5 minutes of just ecstasy, of eating all of that delicious food that's going to, be out of my body in 15 minutes.
So, what do you think it is about carnivore that has helped you get rid of that
I
or
think for
overcome
me,
that?
yes, I think for me, it is also a mental shift. And I know I'm just so nourished. I don't feel hungry. I don't feel like I'm restricting in any way. I'm eating like 2,000 to 2,200 calories a day. I am satiated. I feel good. My sleep is good. My mental health has been my biggest carnivore win. Just having that food freedom, that peace of mind is so huge. But I think just eating the proper human diet, the things that we're supposed to be eating to nourish our bodies properly, the fat, the protein, and not being afraid of it, is just it's incredible.
Yeah, I knew that I wanted to talk to you because I found you on Instagram and I know that you feed your girls an animal-based diet and I'm all like obsessed with that kind of stuff. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, but this is the first time I've actually heard your story." And not only have you been doing this for 100 days without having any symptoms of your ED, but you've also been losing weight and you have more, and I feel like you're finally seeing yourself in a positive light. So could you share with me how you view yourself differently now versus back when the ED first started?
Night and day. I am so much more confident and proud and honored that God has blessed me with this body and all that it has done. I'm so proud of myself for overcoming something that I literally felt like I was drowning in. I feel like I wear this almost as a badge of honor because I've overcome it. And it's a good example for my girls. I want to show them that we can do hard things, we can persevere, to be our best, healthiest selves. And my confidence in my clothes, I want to be in pictures. I want to run and chase my kids and pick them up from school. I want to be involved in all that. It's just, it's been such a huge change. And just knowing that I've been able to do this by myself. I didn't have to take any magic pills. I didn't have to go and meet with a personal trainer. I didn't have to have a huge 5-page long food plan. I didn't have to take any supplements. I don't take any supplements. I don't take any multivitamins. I can't stop talking about it. I'm so passionate about the carnivore way of eating.
Yeah, and I can certainly understand why. You talked earlier about how when you were a kid and you craved that sugar so much you would eat the wrapper. Has that? How have your cravings for sugar been changed, or have they been changed since starting the carnivore diet?
Yes, I don't have them anymore. I don't have any sugar cravings. Now, this is the third time I've done carnivore. But the first two times I did them wrong and I was restricting and I was not using any salt. I was just doing the whole diet brain. My eating disorder was still taking over. No, I am doing it the right way this time. I am eating until I'm full. I'm salting my meats. And the first week, I think that's kind of normal for everyone to have a little bit of a few days of like a little headache and kind of feeling a little rough. But just changing my mindset that, you know what, this food is fuel. It is not entertainment. It is not a warm hug. It is fuel meant to nourish my body properly, not for enjoyment, not for fun. No, food is fuel.
That thing you said about never being full, that is so relatable. I had the same exact thing until I came to carnivore. I had it my whole life, just never being full and leaving the table hungry. And it's been like my whole life where I was basically told that because I was overweight my whole life that I needed to restrict my whole life. And it's so freeing to get over that. And so you do a little bit of tracking because you're sharing with people. But I love that you're showing, hey, I get to eat. I don't eat 1,200 calories. I eat 2,000 to 2,200. And how much weight did you say you've lost?
24 pounds.
Wow.
And
That's
3 pant
amazing.
sizes.
That's amazing. And you're getting stronger too.
Yes.
So
Yes.
awesome.
I have so much energy to go to the gym. You know, I just feel so good. I remember before when I was eating a plant heavy standard American diet, or when I was in between carnivore and I was binging and purging, I would still go to the gym, but I felt like a zombie. I was so bloated and gassy and miserable. My clothes were so tight. I didn't want to be there. I was embarrassed. I was shame. I felt shame. I was just self-loathing for what I had done and abused my body. But now I get up and I want to go. I want to go to the gym because I love my body. I have worked hard for this and I feel so good.
Oh, that's incredible. I was, like I said, I was listening to your story and I was just thinking about how you got married and your husband didn't know. That's how I think that legitimately shows how much guilt and shame that you were carrying. And I'm so happy to know that you are no longer having that and you're just having this full communication. What did your husband think about the carnivore diet and how has this shift in your mindset uh, has it helped your relationship? Has it made it blossom? I'd love to know.
Yes. So when I first told him about it, of course, like most people, he thought it was crazy, but I didn't care. I was so desperate. I just dove in. And he did see when the first 2 times I did a carnivore way of eating, he did see some changes because I was restricting so much. I was losing weight. But this time around, it has been so eye opening for him. He can see the changes in my mental health. He can see the changes in my energy, my joy for life. Like I just have joy all the time. I have joy cleaning dishes. I have joy, taking the trash out. I'm just happy. I'm thankful and I'm happy. And I think that has just so much to do with being properly nourished. Now, he is still eating a full standard American diet. I do cook 90% of all of our meals, and they are carnivore or animal based. He does eat that. But when we go out to eat, or if we're at birthday parties or anything like that, he is full force on all of the deep fried and the sugar. So he definitely, I think, could benefit from eating a carnivore way. But he's his own person, so I don't want to push him. And when he's ready, he will come to the light.
So I have kids too. Now my kids are older, but my youngest son started eating keto or ketovore back in February for his ADHD. And I noticed tremendous differences in him. Have you always fed your kids meat-based, or is there like a before and after story with them?
Yes. Well, originally, when I first started eating this way, I did not want to experiment on them. I wanted to be the experiment. I wanted to research it. I wanted to educate myself. I wanted to experiment on myself, see how I felt. My girls have always had a very broad palate and they do love meat. But before, it was like dry grilled chicken or lean, very lean, all the fat cut off, everything. And now they love the fat on the ribeye. They fight over it. My 6-year-old could take a bath in butter. But that first initial transition, I did have to be the example. I had to lead and show them the way I was eating and how incredible I felt. And then they wanted to. They're like, Mommy, we want to try. We want to try that. Can we try that? And so it wasn't overnight. I transitioned them slowly, but they are full animal based. They are not missing out on anything. They have zero sugar cravings. They are happy, healthy. They have so much energy. We don't have any cavities. We are sleeping well. They are so much less of snacking. They don't want to snack all the time. They used to be like, can I have some fruit snacks? Can I have a veggie straws? Can I have this? No. And I think it's so important too, as a mother, to not only educate myself and do the research and be the example and the experiment, but to also educate them. So I really involve them in all of the ingredients lists. I show them why we choose not to eat these foods often and why we choose to eat these foods instead. And just educating them, involving them in grocery shopping so that they can see different cuts of meat and pick out what they like. And then they also help me in the kitchen. They are so hands-on. My 6-year-old's always like, Mom, can I please help you pat out the burger patties? And they run over to the cutting board once I get all the meat out of the cast iron skillet. And they will be like, my 8-year-old's like trying to lick like the butter off the Oh, they love it. But it has been so helpful for them. My 3-year-old had severe eczema as a baby. I mean, her skin was never like that beautiful baby soft. And it did get better, but we tried so many different steroids. And I remember just like feeling so overwhelmed with not knowing what to do for my poor baby's skin. You know, as a mother, you want to fix all these problems. And eventually she did grow out of most of it. But let me tell you, if she goes to grandma's house or she goes to a birthday party and she has a few treats, you know, things that we don't normally eat, because our house is, I call it a safe space. We do not have anything ultra processed in our house at all. But if they do have some of those foods, the next morning she will have a flare up.
Wow.
Yes.
Speaking of transitions, you said that you struggled with this like for a year or so. For other people who are out there who are struggling to just really stick with it, really make that transition stick, do you have any tips for them?
Yes, I say this often, and I think Kelly Hogan says this too a lot, but find your why. Find your why. Why do you want to do this? It has to be a good why. It can't just be, I just want to lose 10 pounds. No, for me, it was like to get my life back, to be the best mother that I could be, because my family depends on me for my mental health so that I am not struggling every day dealing with anxiety and depression and this eating disorder, so I can get rid of all of my upset stomach and constipation and all of the issues I had before, my uncontrollable blood sugar. I wrote a list down and I kept it with me. And I also prayed a lot. I relied on God to help me through this time and to figure out what I needed to do, that I felt just so overwhelmed and out of control, and I desperately needed help. That, I think, also educating yourself. I remember folding laundry or vacuuming, and I'd have like my earbuds in while the girls were playing, and I would just listen to carnivore podcasts. Listen to other people's experiences, listen to all of the wonderful carnivore doctors that we have in our community. They will educate you, and you will, it just made me feel so much more prepared, you know, for what was to come and how I was going to just succeed by eating this way.
Exactly. That was one of the things that really made, because this is like, you're not alone. Not everyone just gets carnivore right the first time. This is technically my second, and I've been about 14 months now. And I think that the most inspiring thing are the people's stories. It's like you hear them going from a person who has, you know, who was on a bunch of medications, and now they're all of a sudden like either limited medicine or medicine free, and they have all this hope. They have this power within themselves to be able to like step forward and be like, I'm going to take control of my health. And that's something that at least me growing up, I always believed in the doctors. I always believed in the authority figures and that they are going to look out for me, when in reality, unfortunately, that's not necessarily the case. Did you ever go to the doctor to talk about your ED?
No, I didn't. I was very, very shameful. It was something that I thought I could control on my own, something that I didn't want anyone to know about. You know, for me, it was embarrassing. It was so shameful to have to, you know, just eat this much food at one time to make myself feel better, and then go and try to secretly remove it all. So I didn't really talk to anyone about that, and I felt like I could control it. But no, it controlled me for a long time. And for me too, I know that Adrian, you had said something about this too, but growing up, and I don't blame my parents at all for this eating disorder. This is something that I did. No one put my hand in my mouth. But my dad would say things too sometimes like, just eat more fruit and play outside. This, and that just wasn't me. That wasn't my body. I cannot moderate. If I had a piece of fruit, it was then candy, it was then, cupcakes, donuts. And so for me, another thing that has just helped me succeed with this way of eating is I have to all or nothing. It is completely abstained from any sweet tastes, any fruit, any honey, any flavored I mean, nothing like that. I have to abstain from it completely. I cannot moderate sweet taste at all. It triggers my eating disorder. It triggers my issues with mental health. So for me, it's never again.
That's so like self-aware of you, to figure that out and get rid of it. And then I think for sure, the higher fat, the fatty meats and things like that. I've been reading Brain Energy by Chris Palmer. And there's a lot of like physiology behind all the things that you're saying. But I'm curious about you talked about needing to eat that much and wanting to get that 5-minute, dopamine hit. Have you replaced that with something else in your life? Like something else to feel good?
I have changed my habits. So I don't sit on the couch and eat anymore. The couch is like, ooh, I do not sit on the couch and eat. That triggers that feeling of binging. And I feel like I'm in a safe place now that I would be able to, but I don't want to. I don't want to ever do anything that is going to bring back the eating disorder or those cravings. I don't want to touch anything like that. So I think for me, changing habits and just knowing why I'm doing this. I mean, it is one bite of anything sweet and I'm off the edge. And then I don't want to do that again. I've done that so many times. The yo-yoing. Like, I'm done with it. My foot is down. I've got 3 little girls looking up to me, and I have to be the best example for them and my healthiest self for me. So changing habits, just listening to carnivore podcasts and being involved in the community, just surrounding myself with that and keeping my house free of any ultra processed food is huge. Not only for me, but for my kids too.
Do you have any goals going forward, or you're just in the stride and you're just riding it?
I think I want to continue changing my body composition. I want to put on more muscle. So I'd like to see how that works out. I really am enjoying weightlifting. I've been doing it for a long time, but now that I feel so good, I enjoy it so much more. And I think too, just in making sure that my girls are helping me in preparing food and knowledgeable about what they're eating and fun carnivore meals that I can make for them, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's so great. I think us as mothers, we try our best to make sure that our kids are not as broken as we are. It's like, if I could just ask for one thing, don't be as messed up as I am. And I think that because we're eating this way, I think it negates a lot of those really bad emotions. And I like to say that carnivore is cheaper than therapy, right? And I think you could attest to that. And I'm wondering, how have you saved money? Because I know you share a lot of your grocery hauls and what you make. So like, how have you saved money and with the carnivore diet?
Oh, I have saved so much money.
Yes.
If you guys even knew how much money I would spend a week secretly going to different bakeries and different restaurants and getting things for myself that I would hide around the house. But not only that, all of the garbage, ultra processed food I used to buy for my kids, juice boxes, fruit snacks, yogurt tubes, and all of the salads that would rot in my fridge, all of the extra just abundance of vegetables that we would never eat, but mainly just all of the ultra processed stuff that we used to buy, all of the juices. Oh, it's just crazy to think about. Goldfish and graham crackers and pancakes and waffles and anything that looked good to me, I would buy for them. Cereals. So I have saved so much money.
Sorry, I forgot I was muted. We have a question here from one of our viewers right now. So Tammy wants to know, if you overate carnivore, does the past purge feeling ever cross your mind even for a second? If it does, what do you do? That's what I face and have to sit with those feelings until they pass.
Oh, no, I don't. It's kind of a funny feeling of when you're eating this protein and fat and nourishing yourself, I stop naturally before I get to like that engorged feeling. And I think it has to do with the food because when I was eating boxes of cereal, I could eat like half a box of cereal and I wouldn't feel overly full. But now with this nourishing fat and protein, I'm like, oh, I'm full. I'm done. And I think too, knowing that I don't have the pressure I was putting on myself of needing to get rid of everything that was in my house so I could start over on Monday, just engorging on all of the junk that I had hidden everywhere. I don't have to do that. If I want more, I can just go get more ground beef, or I can make some scrambled eggs, or I can have a little slice of butter. Or if I want something more, I can have bacon, anything, bacon. It's not like I'm going to have to get rid of everything I'm hiding in the house, like I did before when I was eating all of the ultra processed food.
I think I can I can relate to Tammy's question because I would say probably for the first 6 months of strict carnivore, I didn't have a problem overeating, but then it's like my brain found a way around it. So next thing you know, I'm overeating short ribs because you can eat those all day and night, or pork rinds, or I don't know what else is there. Making those carnivore pancakes with the beef powder, even if it's the plain unsweetened beef powder and you mix it with egg and then you slather some butter on it and it's not sweetened at all, you could overeat those. And so I think we're wondering, like, what would you suggest if if that slide happens and you start overeating? Would you do a challenge? Would you do a reset? Would you talk to someone? Do you have any suggestions there?
Well, for me, I really focus on fatty red meat. Raw milk is a trigger for me. Cheese is kind of a trigger. Making all of these delicious, beautiful looking carnivore pancakes and carnivore waffles, I don't do any of that. I stick to the simple, the basic, the easy fatty red meat, or add some butter, ground beef, and scrambled eggs. I feel like if I had anything that had any sort of sweet taste or anything that just was so delicious like that, I probably would overeat it. So for me, it's just strict fatty red meat, scrambled eggs with ground beef. I don't try to do any of the fancy stuff or add in anything that could trigger that feeling. So yes, I'm pretty strict because I have to be. There's so much on the line. I have so much baggage that comes with that. So for me, I have to stay strict.
And I think that's a really good, valid point to know your body. We can watch all these influencers online and they can say, I'm eating this, but if you copy what they're eating, you most likely aren't going to find success because your body is yours. Just like, for me, there was a period of time when I was doing carnivore and eggs were flaring up. My rosacea and my skin was getting like acne, was getting horrible. And then I took a break and a couple of months passed, and then I slowly reintroduced them, and now it doesn't cause that anymore. So just because eggs are a carnivore okay food does not mean it's going to work for everyone. So I love how intuitive you are now. And I think that is something that people don't know. They don't understand intuitive eating. And I remember that being like popular like a long time ago. But like, you have to listen to your body, and and then you'll know when to stop eating. But if you're experiencing like basically you are chasing after these hyper palatable foods. And I I understand that because I was an emotional eater. Every emotion that I had, I attached food to it because it would make me like be able to breathe. It'd make me be able to like shake off like even like 2% of the dark mood that I had from my depression. And so I relate a lot to what you're saying. It didn't go as far as it did for you, but I understand that there's this sense of like control that we have to have because it's like I'm trying to control myself, and I hope this is not like triggering or anything like that. But what do you like? So I don't know. I guess like how does it feel to be able to have control in your life, and how do you use that? Like kind of like how Cristie was saying earlier. Is there something else that you're filling your time with, but like more of like the control aspect? Is it like how you're able to control your social media accounts, or is it more like how you're raising your kids? Like, because there when you remove something from your life that's so ingrained in you, you have to fill it with something. And so that's what I was kind of curious about.
It's been so nice having
Yeah.
control over my body and
Mhm.
not my body and my eating disorder controlling me anymore, because it was. And now I have the say in what I put in my mouth, and I know what makes me feel good. Having that control over myself again, that food freedom, that peace of mind has been so, so incredible. But I have made changes in other things. I try to be outside as much as possible. I try to really involve myself in prayer and all of the carnivore podcasts and things like that, making new friends like you guys. And two, I started this Instagram page as just a way to hold myself accountable. Like, I don't know if you guys watched like the first video I post. Oh my gosh. I look back at it now and I'm like, who is that? I couldn't even look at the camera. I was like looking over here talking. I was so ashamed. But just, and my face was so puffy from all of the binging and purging. But the social media aspect has been really healing too, just sharing my journey and getting it off of my back, taking that weight off and just healing and getting all of that out and sharing it and hopefully helping someone else or offering support to someone else who may be going through the same thing.
So I'm glad you mentioned social media, and I know Instagram is your thing, as we talked about, but Arlene does want to know if you have a YouTube channel, and I know you do, and I know you don't focus so much on it, but that's a goal of yours. But can you tell us what it is?
Yes,
Your
it's
YouTube channel?
Kyndall's. Yes, it's Kyndall's Carnivore channel. I definitely want to get more involved in YouTube. I am more active right now at the time on Instagram, but that is a work in progress. It is a goal.
Okay, so there you go, Arlene. Check it out.
I'm gonna put a link for her YouTube channel in all the chats so you can
Perfect.
have
Thank
it
you.
handy.
So while you do that, I will bring up Dr. Nelson's question. So Dr. Nelson is asking, what is the one thing you would recommend to people who struggle to break the food addiction?
Get it out of your house, get it out of your face, get it off your TV, get it off your phone. I could not watch the baking championship with my kids for the first month. I couldn't. I wanted it out. I wanted it out of everywhere around me. I didn't want it getting into my brain. I didn't want to think about it in any way. So the house was rid of all the ultra processed food, the sugar, the carbs, everything. Every trigger, I wanted it out off the TV, like I said, off my phone. I wasn't looking up, how to make a cake recipes, anything like that. And I think too, clinging to your why. I know I talked about that earlier, but even now, every day I wake up and just tell myself, I am waking up for my girls. I am waking up for my body. I'm not going to continue abusing my body the way I was before. God told us our body is a temple. So let's treat it like that. And I want to be the best example for my girls and showing them how happy and healthy mommy is and how mommy is chasing them and running around and playing with them outside. They notice, they see, and they want to do the same thing I am doing. But it was difficult. I really had to get some grit. There was a couple of times I had to white knuckle it, but I knew that once I got over those first 3 days, I could do anything. delayed gratification. It was worth it. I will never have another bite of anything sweet.
Some people here say, oh, sorry. Okay. They said what saved them is staying away from the breads, the tortillas, the pancakes. And so for me, unfortunately, there are some influencers in this space that I just can't follow because it does trigger me to watch them eat it, even though I love them. Do you have any influencers that are your favorite that have really helped you stay on track that other people could follow as well?
Oh, I love the doctors. I love Dr. Chafee. I love Dr. Barry. I love Kelly Hogan. She's so fun. Oh, there's just so many wonderful people in our community. And that's another thing. Carnivores are so happy. We're so joyful. Everyone is so supportive of one another. You know, it's just like everybody's always in a good mood. And I love that so much. It's just insane how happy and joyful everybody is. But everybody in our community has just been so great and supportive. I can't stop talking about how wonderful our carnivore community is.
Jenny
Yeah.
Middich, shout out to Jenny. Sorry, I just saw her comment. She's another one.
Hey,
If you
Jenny.
haven't followed her yet, Kyndall, her channel is fantastic. So hi,
Oh,
Jenny.
Amazing.
Thanks for joining us. She was a guest a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
I
she has a
told
great
Kendall
channel.
all about her.
yes.
Okay. That's awesome. You know, so the reels, I can't remember what they're called. The reels that you post online, I find your energy to be so bright and happy and animated, and I wonder if you what is I'm trying to pinpoint exactly what I wanted to say. Sorry about that. Is that how you want others to like always see you, or do you ever have bad days on the carnivore diet? Because it like we do feel like energetic and happy like majority of time, but do you ever feel like you have some rough times?
Yes, I have always been a very joyful and happy person. But before this last making carnivore my lifestyle, I felt like I was wearing a mask. It was like a fake happy. You know, inside I was dying, for a lack of a better word, just drowning in all of the mental health and eating disorder weight. So now just to be free and happy and be myself has been just so great. But there are times, you know, yes, I do still like struggle and get irritated with my kids. But the oxalate dumping, I did have a little bit of that, and that was not fun. So I made like a little reel about that. But overall, you guys, I just feel so much better that I don't feel like I have any other mood other than just happiness and joy.
We do often get asked about oxalate dumping. Can I ask a little bit more about that? Like, what were your symptoms?
Yes, it was actually really weird. And I did have this the last 2 times that I tried to eat a carnivore way as well. I had like almost like sand granules coming out of my eyes. I would wake up in the morning. It was really weird. Right in the corners of my eyes. And normal meals that I was eating, you know, every other day or every couple of days or every day, they would really upset my stomach. Like I would have to run to the bathroom. And that was something that I never had eating them prior. And it lasted about a week and a half. And it got a lot better. It did. It totally went away. And I have heard from other people that sometimes it comes in cycles. So like I may have that experience again, but just seeing those like granules coming out from my eyes was kind of crazy. But I knew what it was because I have listened to Sally Norton so much. So I kind of expected that to happen, and that's normal. My body's doing something normal. I never felt like I was having such severe symptoms that I needed to supplement with anything, but I know that some people do. But I got through that and hopefully won't have to experience it again.
Prior to this, were you on any medication? Have you come off anything?
Yes, I was taking a prescription strength migraine medication. And even before I went to the doctor for my debilitating migraines, I was having headaches almost every day. And I remember telling my doctors, like, my doctor, why am I having these headaches? And she told me, she said, you are taking so much aspirin and ibuprofen every day. You've actually developed a syndrome that your body has become addicted to taking these medications, that now if you don't take them, you're going to have a headache. So I had to go off of all of those cold turkey. And then she gave me some medication for my migraines. They were so debilitating at times that I couldn't see. I was seeing dots. I was feeling dizzy. I was having nausea. And as a mother, I can't just go lay down for a few hours. So I would just have to suffer through those. And I was having them multiple times a month. Once I got my blood sugar stable and I wasn't constantly eating every hour or every 90 minutes, headaches are gone. Totally gone. I haven't had one migraine. I did have one headache like around my cycle, but I could handle it. It wasn't like the debilitating, can't look at the light, nauseous migraines that I was used to before eating this way.
Okay. So I remember you saying earlier that you used to be constipated. However, bowel movements changed since eating carnivore.
I told my husband this the other day. I said, you know what? I'm so grateful that I have been able to put my my eating
I forgot
disorder in
about the
remission. Yeah. Yes. I'm so thankful I've been able to put my eating disorder in remission, all of my mental health issues, but I would stay eating this way just to not have to be as constipated as I was before. And oh, it was so awful. I remember just being miserable and in so much pain and having to take like over the counter medications to help get things going. You guys, this way of eating has been the best thing for my constipation. I don't have it anymore. Now, I don't go every single day, maybe every other day, maybe every 2 days, or it may be every day. But it is so much, I'm in and out. My kids aren't banging on the door and sticking their fingers underneath and shoving paper and books and asking questions. No, I'm in and out. It's so enjoyable. I know that's a funny word to use with this, but easy peasy, totally different than what I experienced before.
Easy peasy butthole squeezy.
Yes, please. That'd be on a shirt. We need that on a shirt.
Oh, they're looking for a new host now. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you have to stay forever, Adrian, please.
Oh my goodness.
Is it time for the Meaty Wheels?
Oh, okay. I think it's time for us to spin you a question, Kyndall. And yeah, we'll see what random question the Meaty Wheel has for you tonight. So I'm going to bring that up right now. I like how excited you are. All right, here is our Meaty Wheel. I'm going to give it a spin and we'll see what we can hunt down. Are there any foods or ingredients you avoid for health reasons?
All sugar, carbohydrates, and seed oils. If I go through a drive-through and just get burger patties, I always ask them, do you guys cook any of your meat in seed oils? Do you use Pam spray? Because immediately after eating anything like that has been cooked or prepared or touched seed oils, I do tend to have an upset stomach. So I really try to avoid anything that has been around seed oils.
Amen. That's definitely something that it's so funny. Like, I had no idea what seed oils were. And it was something that I was just like canola oil. I was cooking with that all the time. And it's just like thinking about how long it's going to be in my body. It just gives me the icks. But we talked a little bit about your Instagram. Let me share it. And then you can tell us like why we should follow, what we look forward to. Obviously, we've been enjoying hearing your story and you're such a joy to be around. I'm so happy. So if you could tell us about your Instagram page and what you like to post.
Yes, I love posting just what we eat in a day. I love posting what my girls eat. I love posting fun, easy, mom-friendly carnivore recipes. I love posting, a few things here and there about working out and just how much this way of eating has drastically changed my life. It's given me my life back. So I'm just so passionate and on fire for talking about carnivore. So there's lots of good stuff in there for everybody.
I totally agree. It's a beautiful page. I follow it.
Thank you.
I do too. Yeah, it's just so sweet to see your girls. Like they obviously are so bright and energetic and they play hard. You guys have that
Yes.
beautiful backyard and they're just like running. They're like, let's go. So I think that's
Yes.
awesome. Is basically like, is this the life that you've always wanted?
Yes. The life I have now, for sure.
Yeah.
100%. I am feeling my absolute best. I'm not sure how it can get any better.
Mm-hmm. That's so great. I love that.
Thank you.
It can get
Yeah.
better once you start going to meetups.
Yes.
There's
Oh,
something
yeah.
about a meetup that it just releases endorphins and dopamine and all the good feelies. Being around all that happy energy,
Yes.
being around the people. And I mean, the people in real life are as great in real life as they are on the screen.
That sounds
Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah,
I know,
I'm
I'm super
excited. I'm
jealous.
gonna meet up with Rhonda. She just posted the final leg of the egg relay today. I'm gonna meet up with her at the San Diego low carb conference, whatever it's called, down in San Diego in August. I'm super excited. So your old stomping grounds, right, Kyndall? You said you're from
Yes.
Oceanside. I'm in Southern
Yes.
California. Yeah,
Ah.
yeah.
Cool. Well, is it time to do our roar?
Yeah.
Or did I miss anything?
No, I
No.
think we got everything in. Go ahead and roar us
All
out
right,
here,
everybody,
Adrian.
get your roars ready to type into the chat, and we're gonna go 3, 2, 1. Roar!
Yay! This was such a great episode, Kyndall. Like seriously, you're so awesome. Thank you for
I feel
sharing
like
your
we got it
story.
all in the whole
Yeah.
episode, every single thing.
Yes.
And so, if you guys want to comment after the live is over, you could be our roar of the week next week.
Exactly.
All right.
We need more roars.
roars.
Thanks,
There's our
everyone.
picanha.
Oh, roar, picanha,
Thank
roar. We
you.
didn't talk about picanha. How did I not ask her that?
I know, right?
All right, everyone. Well, thanks for tuning in this week. Thank you, Kyndall, for coming on with us. And I guess it's time to sign off, but we will see you guys next Tuesday. We'll have another awesome guest to hear their story. So bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.